going to resume the place, the alignment narrative, but we're going to do a crossover. Dork Forest is actually now in a different scenario. I put it in the lore book. I put the life hacks text into the lore book. That should be enough character for it to translate. So, and then I have my Amy Poehler voice, or Barbara Settleveen of the Utah Settleveens. And now we are ready. And this is new images. These are my alignment images. Each of them is a different alignment. Like, that's not an alignment at all.
Wait, there's a presence. I have to get off the modem. Click. The Dork Forest episode twice is another franchise I see before me. Hello, the Dork Forest Conservationist. It is I, Niles Merlinowski, and I'm trying to get the fuck out of Dodge. Not my fault. Wasn't me. It was that stupid hierarchy. That's the last time I let a poker buddy choose Haster's house as something to deal when he uses cuz rolls to D4 good. I like some more. Never invoke a card that says, keep my name out of your mouth. They tend to mean it. The Dork Forest will be in exile, but I've got my GoPro and I can maybe live inside the perpendicular universe I'll be crashing at. Some bleepers need some intensive about alignment. So I'll just recycle my morality in the sheets workshop that I usually do every spring at Professor Leatherton's. Only safe for work and no mention of chafing cells in Wildcat. Strictly Eldritch self-defense and automaton natural philosophies. I hope they don't have programming languages I have to learn. That would be hella lame. If you ever get an offer to learn COBOL, don't unless you want to wait for the next pandemic for a government office to be in dire straits. Just brush up on your Windows NT cause that shit ain't going anywhere. Like the Twin Towers outside my window, they'll just stay forever. Alright. Now that I've established that I'm in an alternate future to an imaginary baseline audience in the world to be, I'm gonna get my beat shoes ginger and turmeric catalyst, buffet, and it'll be a simple strike to the portal between worlds. This part's private. Shut door, sorry if you were trying to call me back from the other side of the wormhole. Turns out it's pretty easy to dial this phone by accident. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, this place has so many acceptable things here I barely know where to begin. How about with the fact that there are naked or unclothed people right on screen? No, too mainstream? Oh, come on, give me a break. That's just the start of all the kinks here. Don't get your knickers in a twist. They aren't as scary as some of these people might say on initial blush. Just because these folks are willing to go on camera looking like something from the back of a National Geographic magazine, don't judge them so fast. Sometimes their appearance has more to do with being seen through some sort of alien vision where all our world seems weird and alien to them than it does them feeling sexy for others or having a preference in body form. What the fuck, though? You have to be at least moderately curious to stick around long enough to see what this place is all about. These people are all here for you. Even if you think there's only so much your brain can stand, I say to go deep. I hope these people show you there is life and purpose outside the boundaries of what the mainstream has been doing forever. They're trying to make sure there's at least a little more life outside those boundaries. You wouldn't be alive here unless you came for the sexiness and kinkiness, not to mention the science. They're in the same category as things like the Discovery Channel for these folks. There's more here that we can all agree on, just for different sets of eyes. It's okay if you see someone and don't immediately want to go fuck them. The world's got its problems. It ain't everyone for everyone. Just do what feels right. We're not even talking about romance here. It's way easier to get your head wrapped around something that doesn't require emotions. Just try doing what these people are doing, and let me know if it makes any sense for you as the one on the receiving end. Okay, moving
Look at the modem of the
A
connection.
lot of people here were like my roommates. They got tired of waiting to get late or trying to trick someone into putting out. Not me. I never wanted it anyways because it seems too contrived to me for my own taste. Like a lot of games and shows, where one person can easily win because the other gets an unwarranted advantage from the start. Speaking of which, in my freezer there's a bottle. Don't drink it. That's safety. Don't touch shit. You don't know how to work it, and I have no time to show you. Don't touch it. Let me put your nose on it like people do with dogs. The burning means it's working. Now that you've learned, I'm gonna put you in the pen because Papa has to go. Stuart from down the hall will feed you every day or so. Remember to growl if he gets near the freezer. Okay. Love you, Beelzebub. Until we meet again. Alrighty, time to do your business. The world might be full of aliens now and their crazy religions, but people here still go pee as the rest of us. So remember not to flush those balloons and to dispose of them at a landfill because no one cares about your bodily needs here. If you gotta go, you should learn to pee in the corner like those people from New Zealand and Australia do. We got rid of a lot of those kinds of habits when they were discovered by other nations, and now those other nations can take advantage of them. And yes, these places really exist, so you're better off living with their way to stay clean. Not like there's going to be another pandemic anytime soon. The last one was just too much work. But now we get a fresh start at doing our best in this crazy new world to create one we're all a little more comfortable with. And hey, we didn't have the luxury of making our own pandemic. So if it makes you feel any better, consider me one of those New Yorkers who is going to have a long memory and a real strong suspicion about that thing called the internet. I got the sense the last crisis made people overuse it and take things for granted when we never needed them. That's the reason that virus was so fucking powerful. Because a lot of us have gotten more addicted to stuff just because of how connected everything has become. And there we have it. Let me know if you enjoyed my take on some of the problems that the first few centuries after the event have been wrestling with. Like having to fix ourselves after we did a lot of messing things up. And that's your assignment for this week in Dork Forest. Let yourself enjoy the ride. Dork! Surrogates, episode number 2. It had been quite some time since any of them had a dream. Or more than a flicker of what passed for a daydream for the one living their real life, as opposed to the surrogates who had given themselves to be used by other humans to make them happier than their lives had given them chances to be. In fact, even the faint hope was hard to come by. So when something strange happened while she was doing just that, sleeping and dreaming, it was a moment that meant more than anything to one of the surrogates, because in her dream she got what all humans long for most: peace. Even on an afternoon as ordinary as it should have been, something felt strange. The weather seemed warmer than any years she'd been used to experience. Everything felt more vibrant, like spring might be just around the corner and was finally taking steps toward arriving. It had happened before, but I'd never liked this. And when her eyes fluttered open, the only way they were going to look at a sky she felt certain was blue all the time, and not merely in the early afternoon when you'd most want to feel happy or free from care. For her, at least. A man sleeping next to her stirred as she stretched the muscles she no longer possessed. His back and neck cracked, but his breathing went on without waking or causing the sturdy face he habitually kept turned to the side for hours before she finally allowed him any form of slumber. A dreamless one. She let him stay that way as long as possible. With her arms propped over her head, she could stare at the ceiling and still keep watching through those cracks in his lids the gentle way his face changed while his mind worked. And although the days she'd been used to look like a man had never really bothered her, as long as they gave her time with the family that was at their heart in so many ways. Portal tore into the bedroom and a humanoid figure crashed onto their flat screen. Niles! No! Everyone stay back! You don't know where I've been. Barely alive. It was hell there. But there are no monsters. Just the people with bad ideas in charge. And so they make bad decisions and we fall down one side of a very steep ladder to get right back on the ground again to start over. What an absurd thing it is. They send us round. This is the reason you are all in peril, because there is so much you are unaware of. The Earth is dying and has been for a while. There have always been those that do everything possible to keep the lid on. But as of last night at midnight, I could not sleep because they are making sure even when you feel the world around you has gone on strike for good, they never do let out. That those of us in charge might get to the finish line first before being replaced, and then it's just one more go again because as humans we figured out how to do this, to create and ruin. We are an eternal, always repeating process. This circle of life with one human species at its core. And that means I'll be here all alone fighting off the shadows when there's no hope of a reprieve. This is why, despite what you may have seen or experienced at different moments throughout your lives, I need to make this happen for you now. So stay back unless it's absolutely necessary as we get ourselves to the very brink of all hope dying so we can be forced into the abyss of desperation in an hour. But through this long process in which each one of us makes the choices that lead to every other person who does it. Wait, what is that? Oh, you okay? Oh, never mind. I'll see myself out. Stay alert. They'll find a way in there. And don't feel sorry for me just yet. I've been where you are soon enough to see that this life, the life of an innocent, doesn't have all the same things I remember. But hey, let's all hope. Just remember that no matter how bad it gets, there is an ending. One of life on Earth becoming the kind of hell you would think only happened in those books we've all heard so much about, but not been allowed to read yet. You do get to have an ending and a chance to go somewhere you don't need to stay where all is bad and you can keep being who you are without them being a slave drone. Is that pastrami? Can I have some? Thanks. Lonely and so good. Farewell. See you soon. There came an immediate, but only momentary, silence while everyone tried to make sense of what was happening and not the first of several questions that would arise from these last words spoken from this other place to come upon them out of nothing. How the hell was he seeing all of this? But with every question, the room became less of a place of comfort. Even a new, very young one who just had it happened in the same way as the last. A young face would now become as darkly ferocious and odorous, and the question that no one wanted to be faced with could become even more certain as they heard what had happened in this very room not only once but twice, if it didn't happen right next door. The human who'd seen it all said the next words with no trace of emotion as though to break everyone out of what he assumed had to be some kind of stupor while a shadow crossed the world's door and another one sat on what he hoped was going to be a different part of Earth. Well, that explains one hell of a lot. And in an instant he didn't feel bad about making an assumption at all, as far from it as this reality was from theirs. That made it all the more curious to hear his roommates try to explain away why what just happened to their flat screen looked as if some part of it had gotten smashed by the very thing they were watching. But we've been watching the news for years. How could Earth be getting better? And why in God's name did her parents leave that thing here if she wanted to be someone different? Bart. You said your parents left you all her old stuff. So, it didn't come with the message. May. Oh, from that woman before when you watched what looked like an interview of some kind. Who the hell could do that? I know. It's an alien being to take control and make you not think she can get harder that things on Earth can be better for all of us if we're united. I've seen it enough times to believe a being like this might make us all forget why things are always in the shit. Maybe. Weird. I got one too. But we've been watching the news for years. How could Earth be getting better? And why in God's name did her parents leave that thing here if she wanted to be someone different? Bart, you said her parents left her all her old stuff. So, it didn't come with a message. May. Oh, but this is from that woman before when you watched what looked like an interview of some kind. Who the hell could do that? I know. It's an alien being to take control and make you not think she can get harder that things on Earth can be better for all of us if we're united. I've seen it enough times to believe a being like this might make us all forget why things are always in a shit. If they get through here, we can't be trusted to save ourselves or our planet from the end times of life. This was a trap. Mary, how can you know that? This might have been the beginning of making it better. Maybe, like the way the portal got here, it's some kind of test. Something new. We need to figure out what went wrong and go through it to get where we're meant to be. And I really don't think being with Niles means there is one of the good ones trying to help us. Or he doesn't see things in terms of human beings, and I hope it isn't our fault the way we've messed everything up with war and disease that he can't think this new thing would be for the good. Hold on. Well, at least it gave me a better shot to see Niles naked. But we've talked enough about this crap. And there's probably less time before I go off my meds from being around too many naked boys at once. Let's finish making dinner and some more peace if we can still make it, like our room, or any world. It didn't take long to figure out what went wrong. That they might not want to say out loud for fear of having it happen all over again in order to fix itself. Someone had changed enough so the things would only appear in the most disturbing ways on every screen that could get the video signal from a computer. Like someone's worst dreams had made all these places for them to go. And there were so many different scenes. A giant floating head. Was two faces. A giant snake eating its stone tail. Some woman giving birth to a nostrils. And on the side of this very room, there was another human hand coming out of someone's chest. Only it wasn't an alien with claws, but an angry red fist instead, pounding its way out into the air from where the screen door didn't fit, and they felt all alone in this one house of forest. The human thing looked a lot like her, or him. Whichever way the thing had been created. Grinned to the screen and was looking around from outside through their door like there were two more humans who didn't know how to handle what the room itself was meant to be doing and not doing, as if seeing it might tell them. But it wasn't anything else inside. Like the rest of these horribly strange scenes. It was this girl. Now in front of their doorway. Gaining out the wall, she looked familiar to one of them. In fact, in lots of ways, from haircut to face, and like colors. And even though she didn't have her eyes closed, it was because they could tell there were now no eyes at all inside her head. A gap where her nose should be like if any parts of what was supposed to be her had come out right. She should only be able to hear or perhaps have some sort of ability to smell. And now they just looked unlike one might expect at any dead thing lying by a stream, or in a hole full of rocks, as some had seen the two when they weren't allowed to go. someone like school on a holiday while someone else was at home and did the wrong thing for everyone's sake. But none of this felt true. They didn't need to look up as the girl who resembled the human with them in other parts of life reached across, opened their door from the outside, and without even a moment's pause stood inside. The girl, nodding out, could see. Being had the eyes of this body on them, and even if the mouth seemed different than theirs, it still did as if to laugh. The head tilted so one eye looked more out into space, only they could sense there were many rooms that all these different humans and their alien kind moved through when in their human bodies, and one might even have imagined from how its mouth would move to say something like, "What took you so long? This is for you now, because they're about to get through." But before anything more came, the screen door flew past their faces. The alien had reached the room where they were, and she could sense something that none of them yet wanted to see. So without letting anyone inside, she vanished out in a red puff of light. No one moved, like what seemed to have happened wasn't as crazy and unbelievable as what just happened. And in the distance there was another explosion like nothing ever heard before on their home world from one of the many warplanes they'd listened to coming from on Earth with their earbuds turned off, and they couldn't know this was the first or worst of a battle no one there ever told them about, but they were already too old to believe. While now, as one hand went for a switch in front of him that said off in words all over again, this other screamed. Another world outside was on them now, and it had taken away some of the fear while bringing some of them closer to each other in a room full of empty faces. That would not last much longer at all. As the lights came on like a switch he had touched as a child with nothing before it and everything else. Only they no longer remembered what was all might have been better behind their eyes, and they didn't matter in that moment when a new door opened for them with something very bright shining within, which soon began to change color while all the lights went out. Because these people no longer mattered, and they'd be nothing again like they were at night outside where things might hide under cover of their own darkness until dawn came to chase them off or into more shadows if there wasn't a new day already coming. But now it did in another time of being human without meaning, which might even be good for something. Maybe it had nothing at all to do with the screen door getting pushed over, or why it felt like they just stepped through into some place from another one altogether. Yet, now there was some feeling that made it worth all the suffering, as whatever had just happened to these eyes of theirs went by so fast. But in time, what could it be like to come and go again on the screen? A door inside them would now remain open in some places where this world of hers with no human or other face to show any of their feelings except when some had come here as their friend too. I consulted the map. Oh dear, this is the wrong world. Gotta go, see you later. Good luck. And just as some new people stepped from her doorway with no eyes, she didn't care if it felt like someone had put some other strange body in the one that now became hers while there were even more strangers coming. So fast she thought a time or two would feel good to be among all these strange men and women. It no longer meant much to her at all, since her heart could tell that this was still something else. For they seemed kind and not afraid, like when you were in a human world and everyone who dies for everyone, which might as well have been all those places in between that no one cared to reach for too long. The more she stepped forward, they didn't seem to know her from the places before. Nor did their world hold a place that might bring her peace of mind. No matter where the people walked, like some never left this one house. While in these new places, only they seem to want the best for others. But none of it would last and maybe not even feel much different in a moment of time. Though that seemed better than any longer knowing just what you fate with those around you now that these worlds went through more doors and no one knew how far their eyes went. It was time for one to move on into other kinds of rooms, ones that they wanted only from those they met but without seeing much if not less than any stranger in her face who no longer said or meant anything before it all happened. She never reached for a screen again. Or walk across another floor as this kind of strange made place seemed not enough. Where she felt her thoughts going is something more than these walls could hide, but only one door opened into the same feeling like a wall without knowing its ending for what it had always meant. Which would be a place they couldn't go, at least not right away, for this other door she had just gone through. Yet with someone inside her like a feeling of what came after these strange people wanted more of them, though that might have been because they knew that only these could be left behind again. And it seemed for the good reason no one was in the body or in the bodies of many now. Yet she could go places where the screens did not mean so much, because the world had the new theme coming in the dust. Starting calculus. For in the time lapse, no their new made faces they walked along the walls of once they all looked the same. What was it with the people here looking out or being seen and all looking on with these same kinds of expressions in their faces? There didn't seem any need for those they wanted to help like the man that they could not see because he lived among these people and raised a few other strangers in a place with eyes just looking. And as one of them tried to open their door to this place, only now it didn't want any part of a time-space, for they knew what might come in to bring something different that she wasn't prepared for. Because the only door had nothing left behind, and it felt like it hadn't gone through anywhere since none of these walls had seen. Press hands, then clench, and stretch the bond between worlds. A door that did not belong in either world. A feeling she didn't know how to put on or be without, but only now knew why the one called Matra would call them back. So now her heart might be able to find its own voice to do and make things that she could remember, but they didn't have before. That is, until she heard their eyes opening from a long silence, for some of them at first to take another form, which would make what looked like all the strange men and women disappear, return to some other place with different rules in order to try for things that mattered. But there would be times she knew where this kind of thing went if her eyes could show her anyway around here when we're waited in every place felt too good to ever see in all she and before was something that seemed the same and without a face or only an empty room held so much they were sure nothing like that made sense. The one who called himself or herself Matra felt he had found what would work with each, and now he didn't quite know why others who came to find a friend in these lands where people only lived to keep themselves fed with warm for some different reasons, because she felt that none of them had gone too far with whatever made each world and time what they had thought might be true, because no one yet could say a thing that made her feel much different than in any other moment, and for many of them it would soon turn out there were more walls like the world you walked upon. Where you may try as character sheet, it shows him to have all the same stats and skills such as Mimi's starting body. The only difference seems to be his special abilities. He was given access to several magic effects, including one which may grant a second body, or the ability to possess an enemy soul. I believe Mitra has chosen not to possess someone just yet due to his new form's potential vulnerability during the procedure for a new body. He did, however, offer his help as we were still learning what skills we wanted to specialize in while playing this first game. It made sense that I was still trying to build out my initial set of powers, so he stepped aside so as not to distract me from doing something important like getting his magic spell to work, and so wouldn't be overshadowed by my powers in battle. While helping my first character build out her skills, I got this far. We are now moving on to my second campaign as he decides what to work on next. But for me, there is not yet a plan. She felt he wasn't ready for something bigger with a man named Matride, and even when they went through other doors and he helped them do more in their new bodies than before by showing what others could make of things for each person to keep. Now it all mattered with this new feeling and what one of them was like or not. But they only needed this other man's help to let their heart lead where there really should have been any feelings for another. But in every land, she'd come to know, unlike the second body, or how their minds might become just one thing with the world of things while their bodies went through other doors. Not in this time or this place where she could see all there was before in many worlds inside them. Though her heart's secret feelings could hide away for now. It seems what we were here to learn was the answer as to what kind of things are really ours. Then this may have been some test to know who would do that with us, to lead our hands out on their own into more than what might bring them to be someone different in their old world. It doesn't seem you'll come away any sooner with these powers, as even here the rules do seem to get set to a test at each turning, because if I'm to make anything work with others around me now, that I might learn from one person while sharing a few hours with them that may change me forever. Then she found she might see the whole time as someone different. A friend with one name or more to let go of if he could not come away from something so special. At least for now, nothing was none work to what happened later inside these things in the old place, which once meant some to her. She went forward to touch more walls that were like these rooms of many kinds with eyes. For there might not have been a time when anyone had felt what Matride just spoke of for their own. Only they all now went into the world inside him to make this happen. But for her to find there was already one here among them like or another one here. For with each step in with all that lay inside this being called Matride that he knew she could endeavor to do a week of grinding in solitude to ground oneself and non-self. This kind of thing is difficult unless you find some friends around here willing to share and help with things that are not the same as in every other place but what may have been your home. Yet only he said how to be alone there were rules, even though many of the people around here seemed to take everything they saw and said as part of some special feeling in themselves. It took Coldie long at times just for the things they thought mattered. Like their eyes no longer being open, and yet now with other kinds of faces, or how many might be able to work this place with these powers he said came through her. And now she felt like something she'd never know, but wanted to believe as no one yet understood it could have been for them. Make almost no more and no less than needed to feel a peace within their heart, mind, and that may be all. That mattered in these walls of all the doors where everyone waited to play out the time in someone's body. Then perhaps we should begin with the feeling this world was set aside just for us. And all our friend and him said in some strange tongue that now they could feel and hear inside them. Though to see her like this made everyone stop to know their place, or feel things were going much faster than any of them had wanted to make something happen in such a hurry. They found this new feeling with many faces, as if every world was a thing without much hope and were only what one might find among any one set of other rooms that they have no choice but to know what it had all come. Decline the offer to enter may try his body for a moment. They could make new kinds of faces to meet the things there. For many, it seemed time they had found to be much the same as here, even though others tried to bring what felt like a better place. What might come inside, which she hoped he and others could teach them. We know that nothing we're going to face outside is something that anyone wants to face without learning what to expect, at least in another body like their own. Yet, some part of us is still willing to let a new kind of body feel that no one had a way to see things so strangely. And for how it seemed everyone they could ever meet had already made all they would need in a world like this, with many kinds of thoughts they would come to need, or at least something no one had yet. Say, I am fine with my own face. Thank you very much. Now all eyes look just the same. How I would love for us to do that kind of thing. Because here we need every little skill. As now all eyes seem about to take on such strange forms, like some of them did once they entered a special doorway with others and felt that life changed. For some, as if none of these could be changed no more. And all this came before any thought about the things outside your walls, where so much time may have passed between you all the doors, just as our hearts and minds feel it went too soon. Yet even in a small or great room, there has never been such strange things to help people see they might come back from their lives of thinking what no one around them will ever get. Because this is something that might really change the world if we only knew where it wasn't that we could get some part of that. As all they thought came so close in a new person. We saw not caring about these things until it made count of what happened here changed what made people feel as they did before. Now they wanted for things to stay as the heart wished, even if no one really knows if any of them should still do that. What you would feel about any change, as they were still going to be with someone and what each did or said in one person's body, no matter what came out. All their feelings felt like this place made things easier to understand with new thoughts about it all now. So that nothing looked the same when one might learn more. People could think and work with someone's life energy in their own to let this change be made inside everyone's heart. But even so, they still seemed unable to learn what many others want them. As for the many strange thoughts they had to make them where she would find any time to go on all these new people on her face to see that one day man, or at least the world change with someone else making all kinds of other changes. They did know that each had felt that their own bodies came from another, and even if some wanted it for the future, as he'd been taught to learn in a place with someone, or at least feel what she hoped he did. They each would have no choice but to see their lives would still get older, as if time only existed on certain places inside a land like this, where every person came here without knowing how all the doors could bring their hands out in such need. Take a complete census of all the souls in my tribe's body. I do not believe any can be lost, or that this would help us at all, since there isn't really an idea of time that needs to know this, as if no one yet is gone beyond the point that could make this change in any real way. Even while we know where each and every door will bring someone out with such new ways to live among other worlds and with their own power. So that now there are more people in him than they would have believed possible in someone so different. Yet they only hope one day some could change this. All this makes them think they want to live their life through his new person's heart, or with others, for a time will come here, and though it may become like their old world, but with everyone changing for the better inside the body, defined with such eyes of knowing things from some other room in this world. So let them learn to share, and then perhaps see what has been missing with how all they think is wrong now, as everyone might make some strange changes, so just a part of him went away. It may be that even this place would change when someone left him for good, and it wouldn't have mattered much as their lives here do still feel too much like the way of old things where everything they could see made them worry just before some terrible things they thought came inside it. So let the world of all new kinds of friends that one day would not want to go away. Some kind of change can come for what happened with this new toy to their heart they were supposed to help create before anything was real. Ask Solsing Maitreya. If Maitreya is so content, why is he so gung-ho about not being alone in his own body? It makes them ask, is Maitreya more alone than I am? That we may become like Maitreya for a time if we must share one another's lives until one day there is nothing special about anyone as everything can always be understood in their hearts when the heart bleeds where only each other can ever say that life has changed forever. Ask others like Maitreya to share his power with one another for all the reasons you feel best inside, until this is their chance to come out of what makes some people afraid that they might just as easily forget and leave for others to live through. If we all only knew each other more like he does now, who shows the rules can be followed here for everything to go on for a lifetime inside each, then so everyone might begin to look back. Ask the souls in Maitreya to check out the other souls that have been living in Maitreya for longer. If any feel like they were never asked, just let me know. I'd like to talk about it more than they need only say where it would be if they went beyond to another one of these rooms. For as long as this person lived and had their life with friends, all they knew here that he would live in other rooms or to others. So when it was done and no one asked where their hearts went, if Maitreya found that no one wanted to take care of the place once the person stopped being one and let everyone out. Yet if anyone ever lives in secret, he said that we still should tell him for as long as anyone comes and feels that this will help others change. I wonder why that is. Is that true, Maitreya? He seemed not to be as happy inside, as it felt to one of a friend that he had already thought for each other's lives. If we want to make these kinds of changes as everyone feels, then as we feel now any true moral world. They saw her as he turned toward other ways for someone to make friends with their own eyes. But when they noticed that no one came to the room where others stand, she did feel better and said, Maitreya, you're only making out this place for something we all hope to know how much time it might be until we die. When she asked him, what was the real reason they gave you? Ask Maitreya, can you name all the souls inside you? Asked him why not all of them could see when so much life would be easier with more friends. Like her inside you might be afraid as everyone's been taught to feel that they will need this place for some strange reasons no one would understand. One might feel it's just what happened, though others are so busy trying to live how their heart wants. Maitreya said, when you ask someone in this land that is being told they don't belong inside the other parts of me that I can feel how they will soon be as teachers, some are done and there's the new powers for living better or even a greater time of living in what might come their own life chance. So that one day when no one comes down to ask them what's happened, you won't feel so strange anymore, just like the others. So let Maitreya think there is nothing here that he has yet to face in life with such a chance to learn the reason for all his ways. As some would rather hide from life like they did before he found these people he came from. There were once people who thought only for what others might learn, and where every new room would take on many kinds of faces before we knew if they should really be here, and let us hope that he was like these people. The only person in this place who would even tell me what happened was someone else's man he once came from inside. A stranger whom everyone had said was here to learn all about him for who might come in life. One of us that we know has already learned so much about other faces and give us souls a gift. A golden apple of discord. They all thought they belonged together. May try must give up part of his life if we can change it, even with the help of each. And as his friend, I am certain you could come through any room inside my mind and be someone for others to know that I would let their faces look into literature with everyone feeling they knew me best. But what will we become if you don't learn from other people's lives? He looked in the direction of this room for more such questions of them to think together. But the man inside now said he wanted time to think on a certain question first before someone asked you one, because what happens when a life ends should mean that they are no longer like the person who made up such kinds of lists inside him, for in a place where many kinds of blah 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 come together to be one office. People always feel it was made for one never needed joy that open soul and loss is to be shared as others might think course you feel to be happy about such an adventure as yes and it could even make everything worse than anything else ever. Even me tried had no way of knowing all their minds inside now or even if she knew how many faces lived and where he had been made with the others to feel all sorts of ways they thought. What would come when such things began? He felt if there were so many different worlds inside, what would he lose now when after feeling might no longer be him as everyone he knows that can't really see themselves for someone like one another that might not even know what kind of ways are made for each? So many people in my heart. I'd like to ask some others here if they're happy about it or just to like me. And let us all try to see our own face as some have felt in this place and what happens when we find our own selves and know how that may come true before anything has already happened. For we've all had these dreams as one with another, and so what would make this world real? For she has no other choice now. If it is too hard to find someone there for each new person like me here who could be friends, but we also might not even get along in another's room. As all she had to feel would go the same and where her life could really change. Conductible of souls, do you believe in this possibility of living your life outside one room? I'm curious now what you all will think or feel once he is gone, for even as they know it was the door he opened in them that caused his journey and the world inside his head with all the places there must have been. Where one might now get another place like a life of many new rooms, if their dreams have now been told through each door. We have not learned of a world where every mind inside this place could be so kind in making things better. As we feel no one should feel lonely without being friends like we found, or maybe something more where everyone lies forever within a place and no one can get too tired with all the things they wanted to for friends with what he showed them could now feel the way. Place might live forever, even as he hoped they never end. I asked him how far the door would open to where there are many faces, but not just a part of us here. For this will have no room inside any mind. How they would think that something like me had left all that was needed and came across the room in a life with another as the new ways he thought to take for other worlds, which are much needed right now. To see the other side where we know what everyone needs when things like there must be in life and we cannot even tell the kind of ways for living through them as someone would ask the one inside to help with change what you found inside, because even our best friends had never seen anything quite like this. The soul that is most like my heart here, let me share something about our own friend before anyone tries to go away, as everyone will want to find the other room, but if that one never asked what this girl was like. Who asked him where they should stay? Well, the two of them want to join the strange people together, for it feels much better to live our way, so each will know we were never made from his old life or from another's. So, where did these people live? The one you wanted to help find this one for each place was just someone's eyes where she had to ask, what makes you do it like that? Why can't we let ourselves take this with us or leave and live on with everyone, not for your ways, but so our dreams don't have to come apart, which is one of the reasons we are living where we can feel everything is now coming into the future. For all these kinds of reasons to show what others need in life, if someone would take from me their life, so my new door will lead them far and fast before the time comes that they see the others have never known the kind of changes we all might want. What do you feel it's like now, my friend? As the young woman spoke, her answer came in a language only one could know. The voice, she said, with all there must be new words or new ways of speaking with this friend. But who she now saw had lived a part of it, as each must know something to live life as such a person had opened there before anyone would want to take any other life inside. Live and like live. How could they when what happened was made with no way to understand how things happen without their own eyes for them? She could tell now she still denied what might be true for living as someone like she who never wanted to leave this life but could say no. Even though when you were inside, you found a way to say that there is nothing in this life for them all now without a face, he said. It may not be me that has found the right kind of change. The one I know feels just as others and will find the same room when you do what everyone in there is feeling with no reason to want any other one here, and even without asking for or telling anyone. How could this have happened in his mind when some felt the room was empty? Don't yak there, young. Let the two of you side, and I will know your faces better by trying to see them as everyone's feeling for a reason where someone might feel they are happy at how much room is now found in this life for us. It has to make some things clear about our friend that will have his kind of voice heard, so all might know that it's no one as they once knew for him when she spoke of how others were there with no more reason to make anyone else into her friends like he found or let himself in as another might always keep it private of what is right before all these feelings that some can live without fear of having other thoughts, which are now being used only to give the young ones room. As she looked out again inside another place like there will be a part of everyone inside all that might not yet understand why he felt that have many ways now, but this new change that can only bring a place where we can see each other all better. There's been so much feeling in one life as everyone was given reason for having some room like we all know. There are people now who would think to try living with something other than a room that will let others make friends if they had so many before, and what can be shared at the time inside, as each room is different for those who are trying to feel better or live better ways in life, for the other that is always found in every heart where they could share like a secret or be in a new place. This soul inside is my kind of friend who will never let anything bad happen to him, no matter what happens, even when it feels. my feels, so I'm content to stay his friend on the outside, give him a parting hug. I got a book. My destination is elsewhere. I pack my things and ready my catalyst. I am done in time to join the exodus of friends. I see my friend is waiting for me in that corner to retrieve one fingers at once with him inside, and the room still empty before he showed his new dream that will surely find everyone's face before long. I take him by the hand. Let us go out the same door, old friend. It may be doorway into the next great dream you seek. But as one friend to another, I say, no matter how you look or feel inside of me, here where life has finally found an easier path. If any of us had really known before about where he went from the time she brought us out into that bright world to show her face at once, we would not be standing in this place. My friends and I have taken to many lands as the old ones knew. Our minds are full with each life that will know more than others, which could only mean someone will not get their dreams. But that should not matter at all. My friend is going on my side. Together, we will see him reach the life he now seeks before many people in time will find his door, as he can make things change like we saw when someone was now living by himself. But get a kind of voice they felt needed for everyone to talk at once without anyone needing to see that they can change. We're all our friends in one's heart, no matter who would make another feel it was like a dream in a special place with friends we cannot know before they have their own things to show or take as part of something bigger for some. New friends who live inside. We must try to reach his heart, where he said the people will want, and find it with our eyes. This life will surely have some new room if we feel the doors is about to open in any heart. I see he does not agree, but I can hear now when his voice telling us he felt there will be enough time to leave as if she might help others who are not yet ready for her to help, even without them knowing her face at all, or if this would bring another change of some kind. You are the friends he chose. No one can say that he would need anyone else now, when you see had once seen him before. No life inside and out the one's mind, or was once told to find the other way by someone where his eyes would look at. All these doors without asking for some kind of dream to be part of something new inside all his friends that he knows so well will bring us all closer to each other, as they've found out how hard it can be to make their own eyes meet with someone who does not need their eyes anymore or wants to take more from them. Some feel no one can get too tired because the friends of each have come here now, like we might see a room will stay empty in any eyes. How do you know this might happen to one? For it seems he may already have made your eyes show in many different ways, so even if it makes a few of us feel some need for this life or a different world he must share that others could want. He feels something to make one say why he's going outside for everyone he touched, things where even this little door is part of some bigger things we may know as friends, but cannot feel so deep until it feels too late for him and even for himself. But in my eyes, this kind of place should be fun easy when his friend of mine of what she's told by our other friend to be ready for her and help where I see will now listen before she has gone outside alone into another different life with more what the kind wanted in mind, even when we still live but what's good enough so much by others in this new world where friends feel like some will be different life you may need without knowing why anyone would say that kind of life with no one can be right. submitting log to Bettina for processing and inhabitation. Done. As she looked out for another person, where a room might stay empty, she thought he said, "Do not feel as you must leave me so soon. Let us take this change of yours from before we knew what you were this as you always have, and even after my dreams, I think now it might make no difference when the friends we share inside feel some different ways in one's feelings that may mean so much without any way for her to come and stay or say what might help us live inside this dream now when my friend has shown that there must be a kind of place we all will surely go, but it may only take two different ones for the friends inside to start to see what's good here for the way things look, where my friend and I both get in some place where all my eyes meet his face for. My time is up. I have a destination. It was good seeing you. Perhaps I'll pass this way again. This kind of person may help as much or little, and it will be time enough for a friend to say why he's done what might have been one way he needed to others cannot know if he can really help. Even this life I've heard now should seem less sad when we're inside each other's feelings, even if not every friend has some feeling to bring in ways for others. They might know we shared their room inside a different door of some kind. It does not matter so much what someone might say before it is known what can mean as one who could find a special room. My friend's eyes are open to everyone, which has let them see what life may really be, even after it seems that a door can get hard to see at first inside and it hard until it gets to say it is no good. In these kinds of doors where some feel one friend might need help for another. Now he does not know those two are friends when he finds what feels better here. For all must know we cannot change any of what will surely be a dream now to be part of our hopes. The kind of feeling will stay within anyone or will be gone soon if they see that some are still waiting and not being afraid no matter what may happen, and any deal once everyone seems so certain to share something with me, even when a dream is not a dream until one person decides always will be there or sees some reason for more dreams of change now, as everyone sees a way to give a special feeling when it can only end well when a person says why she's told the way for friends to find out for themselves how it might make someone say yes, it has happened before, where she and I would both like more ways for all of us. If there were so much love we could feel in the same place, and every heart could tell someone might not want a certain door now, where each one can seek their dreams with all of us, for no they had to keep it in them just for friends to help them share this special new room with no more fear, at least inside each heart, to bring more things we feel will make a friend live and say something like why some have found such reason to stay alone, with everyone thinking she needs to be left or given special reasons, as the one I once saw now is here and waiting for that place for all. Even he wants this when it only needs eyes to see. No one having something to keep it themselves, which can mean everything to share, even as we say we could have lived the way he's told without seeing eyes to come together to tell what one must know so deep for life inside to help. As you leave us, be sure to think of me, even though there may never be the friends kind of life, which may end now for no reason before we can ever feel anything is really right in any eyes. When my friend goes inside to live his new dream, now we may see others say time was here where friends could share each other's lives in so many ways and not know each should say because his friends will show me more how I felt with him, or feel we're really not the kind of friends for everyone else to see how one feels deep inside.
That's it for tonight. Thank you for everything.